Well, hello and welcome, amazing people. We have something really brand new that you've never heard before, and I'm going to introduce you to an amazing, amazing lady and friend of mine, Valerie. And we're going to be talking today about the triple power team real estate method. And this is something you can use to give yourself a check now, which is super, super useful during COVID, but it'll also simultaneously create passive recurring income for up to the next 25 years. And then actually when the deal closes again and is finished in 25 years, you'll actually get paid again. And we're going to do all of this without a lot of the things that you've seen, being a landlord and fixing toilets and all those things, or without having to use your own money, without taking on any legal risk, so you're not going to get screwed in anything, without needing to run like big ad campaigns and having billboards and radio ads or just sending letters and knocking on doors, and without having to fix homes. And we found that this works really best for a lot of the people that have, professional career services job, even if you've never done real estate before. This is a way to really build that retirement in a way that you've never heard before by really using your knowledge and expertise. So going to have Valerie say hello. Valerie, say hello to these amazing people.
Hi, everybody. I'm Valerie Trent. How are you?
Yeah. Besides being awesome, Valerie, what I love about you that I think is really relevant to the people listening to this is you do real estate. Like, you make your money from real estate, not from like teaching it. You didn't watch a couple of YouTube videos. You've been doing this for, I don't know, like 15 years, forever. And it's only like very recently that you've even really started like helping other people to do this and seeing like what an impact it can do and change lives. The last few years you've been really sharing some of your secret sauce, and I'm super, super grateful for that. So what we're going to be showing you guys today is really a way to kind of create freedom for yourself, because we're going to create those passive recurring checks, and done in a way where you get a lot of help doing this, and you're not going to be kind of ever stuck. So, Rebecca was saying, like, this has literally just changed her life. And, Valerie, I think we got like hundreds more of these, but I just wanted to show you guys a little sample that, like, this isn't theory, this isn't fluff, this isn't like all the stuff you've heard on TV that you're going to make $1 million in your underwear, but it really, really does work. And without doing all the rental property, which is the worst. So let me tell you really quickly what it'll do for you, and then we'll get into like exactly how it works so you can wrap your head around this. But a lot of people tell us, when they get started, their goal is really just to be debt-free, to have some residual income so they can take care of the family and actually work on, whatever they really want to do with their life, and have the kind of income they can earn anywhere, and, something they can do on their lunch hour to build that also works in Corona. And there's nothing more timeless than real estate. And getting started can be a little intimidating. We understand that, especially like this new way we're going to show you using the triple power team method. But it works even if you really lack that knowledge. Valerie's kind of really scripted everything out. So if you don't know the process, or you don't know where to start, or you don't know how to have a conversation with the seller, or you're worried about like, what do I say if they say that? All of this, you're going to be amazed when I show it to you in just a second how much easier it is, because it's really about working smarter rather than harder. And then we'll also show you how to protect yourself from any of your deals, including your first one being a flop, so you don't have to worry about losing money, or where am I going to find investors, or all the things that come with being a landlord. And there are many, many challenges. If you've ever been a landlord, fixing toilets being one of them. And then we'll show you how to analyze those deals so you can approach a seller, have that confidence, know exactly what to say, where and when to buy, and then, of course, all the logistics, the paperwork, the filling it out, and then finding investors if you ever need cash. And we're talking like a minimum of $10K for every deal we're putting together here. So this, Valerie, this is really, really sexy, by the way, what you put together. So let me tell you guys really quickly how this works. Just firstly, I want to tell you, like, I know you've heard real estate before, and you've seen probably a lot of late night infomercials, mostly from people who actually don't do real estate. They make a lot of their money selling courses, and there's a lot of the flipping and stuff like that, and it certainly works. I have a brother-in-law who's, flipping homes right now, but he also swings a hammer 12 hours a day, and if that's not, something you love doing, that, it can be a real pain. And so we want to show you how to do that without all that. I know probably some of you have heard lease options or wholesaling, and there's good things to those, but the way we're going to show you is most of those people leave a lot of money on the table and end up chasing deals and working way, way harder than they need. So this is none of the infomercial stuff you've probably heard 1,000 times. So we mentioned this kind of in the beginning. What we're talking about is a methodology that involves using a power team. An example of a power team, and there's about 20 people on a power team. An example of one of those, Valerie, so an example of those is an estate attorney. And if you think about an estate attorney, they help people with wills, and then obviously when somebody dies, they help sort the properties. But these people are dealing with people who have properties that they inherited and often don't want and don't really want to pay the taxes on. And every single day they're dealing with people like that. So rather than go and chase sellers one by one, we want to connect with people who have deals flowing through their lap 3 times a day, every day, all day, and this is going to go on for years, as well as people who have investment capital and who are really on the front lines and see these people that we most want to connect with day after day. And so this is really a way of working smarter. And, you had mentioned, Valerie, I think you said before, there's probably 20-ish people that you can get on your power team, but you really only need 5 to really be moving the needle for you, right? Like, can you give people just an idea of how much it actually takes to really get started?
Ask me the question one more time.
So, somebody listening to this, how many people would they need on their power team to really, get started and see the deal flow in that?
But you really only need 2, tops.
Yeah. And that's amazing because we want to be connected really to the people that can help make this a lot faster and do it in a way where it's a win for them. And Valerie kind of tipped her hat a little bit where, we're giving them some value in the process. And the second thing that we're really talking about this is setting up properties where you're getting paid like the bank. If you think about being a landlord, and I'm sure, Valerie, before you found some of this stuff, you at least delved into the landlord stuff. I know I did, and I can actually remember just chasing down tenants for money and having to fix stuff in the middle of the day. And you might make a couple of $100 a month, and over 30 years you get ahead, but it's a real pain, and nobody really tells you that. And we want to set up these deals using the power team method where you're more of like a note owner. And when you think about a note owner, the ultimate note owner is your bank. When a toilet breaks or the roof leaks, you don't call Wells Fargo and say, hey, can you send somebody down to fix my house? You just send them a payment every month. And that's the position we want to take here is creating equity and getting residuals for that. So it's a smarter, more passive, a little bit of upfront work for a long-term wealth creation that allows you to kind of get paid passively month after month. And essentially what we're doing is we're buying equity and selling it as passive cash flow just like a bank would do. So having said that, I want to tell you guys, there are some real challenges in doing this. You got to obviously know what to say, especially to your power team members and to sellers and to potential investors. You got to know how to structure the deals. You got to know the paperwork and the logistics, which can seem intimidating, but is not actually as bad as most people think it'll be. Right. You got to know where to buy and why. And of course, you got to know what your power team wants, because we want to create this where it's a win-win for everybody, where a seller who has a property they don't want is able to move it, or your power team method or your power team members are going to all benefit as well. And of course, you're getting paid the big bucks for structuring and putting this all together. And something I really love about you, Valerie, can you just tell everybody how introvert friendly this is? Because you don't make a bunch of offers and face a bunch of rejection. You've actually set this up so sellers chase you and tell you, how much they want for their property. Can you just add a little bit about how you've created this so, you're not chasing people and doing those things. You're actually getting sellers to chase you.
Exactly. As much as people tell you, you need to get out there and join BNI and network and join the chamber, and I'm just not that girl. I'm very quiet and reserved, and believe it or not, now once I get to know you, that's another story. But the other thing is I hate rejection. So this is designed in such a way, it's actually corona friendly, because you don't have to really go anywhere, and it's about leverage. So it works, and actually we don't make offers, people make us offers. How cool is that? So yeah, it works for my personality. So if I can do it, you extroverts out there like Frankie can do it as well.
Yes. And so yeah, there's something really magical to having sellers be the one make the offers to you. And then, of course, I don't want to BS you guys and tell you like you're going to just magically in your underwear manifest some money and all those kind of things. It's work to get it off the ground, but we want to do it in a way where we're working far, far smarter and setting it up so when we do work once, you get paid for it for a long, long time. So obviously, though, when you do it right, and it doesn't take a lot to do this, your power team brings you all the deals, and they're happy to do so, and there's incentives for them to do it. They bring you all the cash and the investors you ever need, and it's just you getting paid for your knowledge and expertise in structuring those and getting paid like the bank instead of doing all the swinging of the hammer and the fixing of the toilet and chasing deals. And we actually have a couple of friends that, like one comes to mind in particular who, he does a bunch of wholesaling and he does, getting cheap deals and then turns around and sells them for, a small check, but actually leaves most of the big money on the table. And that's part of what's genius about how you structure these is, you're helping people mostly. Can you just add a little bit how only 20% of people are even qualified to get a home and we're dealing with the rest of the market?
Well, if you hang around with Steve Larson, if you know who he is, he talks about the red and the blue ocean. And most people that do this business are chasing the 20%. Very few who can qualify, namely real estate agents, etc. They're chasing the A-paper people, the ones with the the perfect scenarios, the perfect property. While our program focuses on the 80%, the people who, otherwise qualify without traditional barriers, and it just makes it a lot easier when you're not chasing after the small target in the shark-infested waters. You can kind of fish in a pond that's well stocked when you're ready and serve at your highest.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I actually had an experience that comes to mind where when I first got into this, I remember we were kind of like working as like an agent, and there was a property in my hometown, and there was a doctor who came and said, I can put down $250,000 on this property, but I can't qualify for a mortgage.
Right.
Because I have bad credit. And you'd be amazed, like if a person can put $250,000 down, they're qualified in my books, right? And you'd be amazed at what you can get out of those 80%. So let's talk about really quickly how this program works and what you'll get out of it. So it's set up so you're going to get your first deal where you're going to get paid like the bank, get it done in your first 8 weeks. We can actually most times do it quicker than that. But, we know a lot of people like Corona. The world is a strange place right now, and there's a lot going on. So we give you a little bit of extra time to make that happen. And, of course, assemble your power team and make them want what you have, which is actually way easier than most people realize. Like Valerie said, we're not setting this up to be rejected. We're setting it up in a way where we're drawing them in rather than doing the chasing. And, of course, Valerie, you've got so many years doing this that you've got everything scripted out. You've got the templates. You've got all the paperwork. This is stuff that if you do it yourself will take you years to figure it out, and there's no reason to have to wait years. And then, of course, this program, if you're interested, it is done with you, which means, Valerie is there to hold your hand. There's also an amazing community of people. Valerie, I wonder if you could just add a little bit about how awesome the community is.
Well, we do have a vetting process because we want to work with the top people who are motivated and the 5 friend theory. Look around, you'll be the 6th. So yeah, you're going to be a part of a community of action takers and people who are passionate about making an impact and leaving a legacy, and just looking for common people. But I wanted to touch on the first part, that your deal can be done quickly. If you know the time we're in, we're about to hit a tsunami of defaults and evictions and foreclosures, and these people need help. So what used to be old measurements, just to give you a framework, in 2008, at the end of that year, the default rate was 616,000, and these numbers are researched. But right now, as of the time of this recording, our default ratio is at 1.5 million, and we haven't even hit the second wave. So there are a lot of people who need help. and what you're going to learn is how to help them. And it's an implementation program, so you're with not just me, but a community of people that can, that are learning what you're learning, where you can have this army and boots on the ground all over the country.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can speak firsthand to how awesome they are. People who not only help you with answering your questions, but will just inspire you when you see them getting it done. You're like, well, shit, I can do that, right?
You didn't
So,
deal in Hawaii, right? You
yeah,
had a property under contract while traveling the world, which is pretty impressive. But you're not typical, so let's just be honest, right?
yeah, yeah. But no, but I mean, there's a whole bunch of other people that are very typical that are making things happen. So
Okay.
that's, we don't need to just use my example.
Just wanted to.
And of course, you can take this program with a spouse or a child because we know, a lot of you guys want to build this for your family. Like they're your biggest reason for doing this. So if you have somebody that they are included with this, and this is almost like too crazy. Just like you're this price is just unbelievably accessible. You can get started today for $297. So just that's being financed over a year. So it's 12 payments of $297. If you're serious and you're going to go through this program with the intention of doing it and getting your first deal in place, you'll be getting paid on that within the first 60 days. So it's really, I call it the self-milking cow, in that it pays for itself. But even if you need a little bit longer, we wanted to set it up so it's affordable for everyone right now. Like we're not blind to what's happening in Corona, but this price is not going to be this cheap for very long. Valerie's highest end one-on-ones are far, far more expensive than that. And just as well wanted to offer a guarantee to let you guys know we'll work with you to get your first deal done, or as long as it takes you to see results. As long as you put in the work, we're not here to tell you you just magically sit on your butt and deals are going to come to you, but we're going to work very, very smart in a very, very introvert friendly way where you're drawing people into you and building a team of people that help make this happen. So if that's you, you're going to love this, and I can tell you firsthand, having done this, how amazing it is. So what you need to actually do right now is there's a link below, and it'll go to a Google form that Valerie's created, and it's got a few questionnaires, and the reason for that is because we want to keep this community really high vibe and amazing, and we don't just want anybody who's going to bring it down. So there is a qualification process, but you will hear from Valerie's team in 24 hours, and as long as you're approved, she'll send you over a payment link. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Valerie, that I'm just kind of forgetting?
I don't think so. Yeah, it is. It's an implementation program. You're going to get help. The difference between other programs is you'll get some things to download and watch some videos, and you're on your own. But this is an implementation community where we're actually going to hold your hand as long as it takes. So that you can achieve success, and each deal is different, and it's going to help you do that in a leveraged way so that you are working smarter, outsourcing. You're going to learn it, then outsource it. But we're going to support you all the way through that.
Love it. So if you're interested in that, make sure you guys grab that link below. And seriously, I've done this firsthand, so I'm telling you guys this is an amazing, amazing deal. So please check that out if you're interested.
Awesome.